In this WrestleTalk news, Braun Strowman returning to WWE, another surprise draft trade, my review of last night's Raw where everything happened, and more, including Karrion Kross losing in his main roster debut in 2 minutes, while still NXT champion. I hate playing the blame game, guys, but we all know why that happened. You didn't subscribe. You didn't subscribe to WrestleTalk for daily wrestling news videos and enable notifications to always on. So nice one all of you. NXT call-ups are gonna keep on losing until you subscribe. You want Adam Cole to be next? Do you? Because that's what's gonna
support WrestleTalk.
Last month on the 2nd of June, WWE shockingly released Braun Strowman just 2 weeks after he competed in a triple threat for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania Backlash, which ended up being his last match for the company. But going by a new development, we might be seeing the Strowman Express pull back into the company before long. WWE Shop have just released new merchandise for Strowman, adding Monsters Are Real muscle tees and tank tops to the store, soon to be seen on the chief douchebag at your local gymnasium. WWE infamously put Aleister Black's new Dark Father t-shirt for sale just several days before releasing him in June. But to do that for a talent already released 7 weeks ago is a very odd move. Strowman is still under his reported 90-day non-compete clause, which would expire on August 31st, meaning he's technically still available to make WWE appearances, like a one-off program with someone before SummerSlam, where he can tease leaving with whichever title he's fighting for. A Summer of Strowman storyline. Everyone wants to see that. Or, as we've already seen with the releases of Samoa Joe and Drake Maverick. Over the last year, WWE might try to re-sign him back to the company. And with Raw paving the way last night with returns and debuts, it's very possible we could even see Strowman as soon as this Friday's SmackDown. What do you think is going on with Braun Strowman? Let me know in the comments down below, because I'll be replying to people for the first 30 minutes after this video goes live from out of nowhere. Braun! Speaking of wrestlers randomly turning up on SmackDown, random draft segue. Naomi only joined Raw earlier this year when she returned at the Royal Rumble for such memorable storylines as being in a tag team with Lana and occasionally being in a tag team with Asuka. And after being part of the Raw half of Sunday's Money in the Bank pay-per-view, it appears WWE now has exciting new plans for her to probably be part of a random tag team on SmackDown. PW Insider is reporting Naomi has been quietly drafted to SmackDown in the unofficial roster reset that started on Raw last night. The speculated reason is so WWE can keep real-life couples together now they're touring again, with Naomi joining her real-life husband Jimmy Uso on the Blue brand. But the biggest return right now in WWE is undoubtedly Lily. But then also the fans. Just like how the Thunderdome saw a turnaround of viewership last August, Friday's SmackDown, the first in front of a live crowd for over a year, pulled in an average of 2.31 million viewers, which is its best number in 6 months. WrestleVotes tweeted, WWE feels like they can absolutely keep the energy and momentum created so far this past weekend and carry it all the way through to SummerSlam. That was, of course, tweeted before last night's Raw, which was a mixed bag, and I'm going to review it here in about 5 minutes. Thanks for your support on Patreon. Arnie K, the K stands for the coolest dude ever. You can get your own shout out by visiting us at patreon.com/WrestleTalk. The live audience was so excited to be there in person, in attendance for a Monday Night Raw, the first with fans for 16 months, that they just popped for nothing for the opening 10 minutes. It was just an empty ring for the first segment, and they were going crazy. Weird. It was quite poetic to have John Cena, a man who inspired so many conflicting reactions throughout his career, to welcome fans back to Raw. He doesn't care if they boo or cheer, he said, he just cares they're making noise. He thanked the fans for bringing him back and said he's going to challenge Roman Reigns for SummerSlam to knock him down a peg, because he actually doesn't have anything to do here on Raw apart from hopefully pop a rating. Cena bro-dorsed Riddle as he came out, showing how much stock WWE are putting in him at the moment. And then we got our first match, a classically fun 6-man WWE tag, with Riddle and the Viking Experience taking on John Morrison, AJ Styles and Omos, made even more enjoyable by the lively audience. Weirdly, after the first sequence, AJ tagged in Morrison instead of Omos after a moment of hesitation. This could have just been a brief miscommunication, but AJ is also the guy who once turned a rope slip into a 3-night storyline seemingly for his own enjoyment. Don't underestimate the man's attention to detail, and this could foreshadow a split. This potentially led into the finish, where Amos got distracted by Miz with the drip stick, which was actually fired by Riddle, leaving Morrison to get isolated and lose. Carrying on the fans are back novelty, Elias was relevant again, getting everyone to chant, "Walk with Elias." Some things are just so much better with crowds. Others, not so much. Jax and Riker then beat him in a Symphony of Destruction match, which was smart because people would certainly pop for the musical weapon spots, despite the complete lack of the babyface being over. Mustafa Ali and Mansoor are now a tag team. Charlotte Flair excellently dealt with the Becky chants in her coronation segment, saying Lynch is at home breastfeeding, and then out came Rhea Ripley to challenge for a fight, which definitely not Raw general managers Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville made official. Charlotte then tried to kick Ripley so hard, her shoe flew into the ringside area. That could have taken out a fan. Now that's a heel move. Natalya and Tamina then took on Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax in such a big match, nobody got a full entrance. Tamina pinned Shayna with a super kick after botched Reg interference. Interfere Reg. Baszler then teased breaking up the act in frustration while Jax hugged Reginald. Reg a hug. Hugger Jax. And then Nia headbutted him and walked off. Although Reg completely no-sold it, just sitting up and being like, what? If that was Pat Buck, he'd be dead for a week. Reginald then won the 24/7 title by pinning Akira Tozawa, who had ran into the ring afterwards, escaping everyone with some Cirque de Parkour French stuff. Then we got the match Sheamus stopped from properly happening last week, defending his US title against Humberto Carrillo. Carrillo matched Sheamus' stiff style very well, but ultimately lost to a brogue kick, while Damian Priest watched on backstage, presumably setting up his US title program. A fun show so far. Nothing special had happened. I think we're all just grateful for fans to be back. But then WWE went and ruined it by doing the thing they do worst: wrestling booking. Bobby Lashley and MVP came out to get some heat on your local sports team and recapped how Bobby has dropped the champagne, he's dropped the sisters, because he's a very serious Lashley now. I thought they'd get more heat for squashing Kofi Kingston the night before. He then issued an open challenge to anyone in the back. The reports said Goldberg, but instead we got a fantastic surprise return. Keith Lee, my boy, he's back in his home state, challenging the WWE champion. To then lose. Lee got a few impressive spots in, but lost in just over 5 minutes to a spear. I'm impressed. Raw managed fan service for 1 whole hour. But then, in classic WWE style, they beat a very popular returning fresh new star in his home state as just a setup for 54-year-old Goldberg. Hopefully everyone will forget the Lee result, as Bill then came down and started his SummerSlam build with Lashley, screaming, "I'm next." But it is still incredibly frustrating, as there are so many other wrestlers you could have used in the Lashley opponent spot. But they went for Lee, wasting the potential of his return and setting up a depressing near future for how they want to push him. Hot on that segment's heels, we then got Jinder Mahal being in a major storyline. At least Drew McIntyre is going to try all he can to get it over, clobbering Shanky with 2 different chairs 20 times. But then came the worst thing on the show, and arguably one of the worst creative decisions in the last few years. Current NXT champion Karrion Kross made his main roster debut stripped of all the smoke and mirrors that made him cool, no special entrance, no Scarlett Bordeaux sexy lip syncing, to take on Jeff Hardy, who got a far better entrance, bringing back his 2008 No More Words theme, which Jeff has previously said was a condition of his last contract negotiation. That's why you need Matt in there with you for the talks, Jeff. You ask for more money, not a new playlist. I'd be curious to know what the crowd demographic was, as to me it felt like a very casual audience that might have dipped out during the lockdown era, as the pop wasn't that sustained for Keith Lee earlier, and it was certainly one that doesn't watch NXT, as the crowd was utterly silent for any of Kross's offense, being far more into Jeff from 13 years ago. To be fair to Cross, he didn't get much time to win them over, as Jeff beat him in 2 minutes with a roll-up and his feet on the ropes. Cross then vainly tried to save face, saying Hardy has just made a huge mistake. He's not the only one. So Hardy, a legend, sure, but one who's been booked like a total jobber this year, just beat the current NXT champion on his main roster debut in 2 minutes by cheating, but still came off as the babyface, while said current NXT champion had his cool entrance and real-life wife valet stripped away from him on his birthday. It was genuinely Karrion Kross's birthday yesterday too. TikTok. But not just for Cross. The problem is far deeper than just his failed main roster push here, which is dead on arrival. This is why no one cares about NXT. It can put on the best wrestling, it can have great storylines, it can have intriguing characters. But what does that matter when it always ends the same way? All of that potential, all of that excitement ultimately has a terrible ending on the main roster. NXT is a great developmental system, but it's not for WWE, it's for All Elite Wrestling. Both Sean Ross Sapp and Dave Meltzer have described Cross's burial on the main roster as a message being sent to NXT from Vince McMahon, as he does not give a damn about NXT. It seems McMahon's patience has worn out with the brand following their Wednesday Night Raw loss to AEW. Oh, but WWE wasn't done there. By far the biggest return so far happened next, with Lily, the supernatural puppet that nobody is into. Eva Marie and Doudrop interrupted Alexa Bliss's playground segment backstage, and then Marie took a terrible fake trip bump while walking out like it was Lily who did it. Well then, Lily needs to go back to the Performance Center. Thankfully, the main event segment was really good, with Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley doing their show-stealing matchup again, even though Ripley didn't sell her injured leg, still doing her, well, it's a big stomp entrance at the start. Charlotte worked over the seemingly uninjured leg with a chop block, but still couldn't put Ripley away. Instead, she clobbered Rhea with the title to lose via DQ and retain the title. They brawled afterwards, and Ripley laid her out for Nikki Ash to Nikki Ash in her Money in the Bank briefcase, hit her devastating finisher, the top rope crossbody, and win the women's title. Because how's Flair going to become a 17 world-time champion if she doesn't lose it 16 times? What did you think of Karrion Kross and Keith Lee on Raw? Let me know in the comments down below and vote in our poll on a poll match on the community tab, where 74% of you did indeed go with Karrion Kross just lost his main roster debut while NXT champion. This was a very newsworthy show. Fans are back, Keith Lee is back, Lily is back, Goldberg is back, Karrion Kross made his main roster debut, John Cena was there, Nikki cashed in her Money in the Bank briefcase and won. That's like 8 things on my fingers. But newsworthy doesn't necessarily mean good. There were some major creative missteps here, and it felt like Raw moving forward won't be new, it'll be the same old S word with different faces. This Raw is 2 out of 5. Make WrestleTalk.com your homepage for all the latest wrestling news, and watch 5 wrestling news stories you might have missed with Adam Blombier, including WWE's Miro Botch.
Number 4, WWE returns to live events with Rusev. On Friday's episode of SmackDown, WWE returned to touring in front of live fans for the first time since March 2020, but despite having a full year off, which might be a decent window to, if nothing else, update your branding, a production truck was spotted in Houston for SmackDown with the faces of current WWE stars Jeff Hardy, Naomi, and the not-so-current WWE contracted wrestler Rusev.